Even this weekend, I was jumping between Starfield and Fallout 76 and Fallout 4. There is no way you jump between Starfield and Fallout 76. There is no way. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. You played 2 trash games back to back. I don't believe you. What's up, guys? It's the Gaming Zone, bringing you your daily gaming news. And without further ado, let's get into it. Anybody who's a fan of the Elder Scrolls series knows that we have been waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5, sort of, kinda, not really, for a long time now. So with this article here, it should help us figure out which direction we're going with that. We may live long enough to see the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 after all. Todd Howards says Bethesda is finding a way to increase our output. Todd Howards says Bethesda is working on getting games into players' hands more quickly, waiting for upcoming Bethesda games, particularly the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5, often puts me face to face with my own mortality. Although I'm only in my early 30s, anything can happen at any time, and there's no denying that the reality that Bethesda games take a long gosh darn time to make. I'm also in my early 30s, and I would hope to see this game before I turn 40. Yes, Elder Scrolls 6 is in active development and could release in 2026 at the soonest. But what about Fallout 5? That hasn't been even officially revealed beyond the simplest confirmation that it exists in Bethesda's pipeline. And worse yet, Bethesda veteran Email Pagliario recently dashed all hopes of playing it anytime soon. Thankfully, Howard recently gave us a small glimmer of hope when he told Kinda Funny Games that Bethesda has been trying to speed things up. If I didn't make these games, I would just be playing them all the time, he said. Even this weekend, I was jumping between Starfield and Fallout 76 and Fallout 4. There is no way you jump between Starfield and Fallout 76. There is no way. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. You played 2 trash games back to back. I don't believe you. And they do take a long time. And so I think one of the things that we weren't focused on here is obviously making sure they're one of the highest quality, but also finding ways to increase our output, because we don't want to wait that long either. That's never our plan, but we want to make sure we get it right. It's genuinely encouraging to hear Bethesda essentially acknowledging what is a very real issue to fans of the studio's IP. I don't need to remind anyone that the last mainline Elder Scrolls game was released 13 years ago. And if the next one is released as early as possible, it'll still have been 15 years in between releases. It needn't be said that it's simply too damn long. My half-serious existential crisis aside. I actually agree with Jordan Gerblick. I think he's on the right track. I remember when Elder Scrolls 6 was first announced back in 2018. All they showed us was the title screen, and I lost it. Like, I was flipping things, throwing things. It was phenomenal. I cannot wait for Elder Scrolls 6. And to be honest, even if I'm 50 or 60, I will still probably play Elder Scrolls 6. I don't see myself not being a gamer anytime soon. There's just so much joy and fun around gaming that I think is going to be a lifelong thing for me. On our next topic, Square Enix takes $140 million hit on canceled games. Square Enix today warned investors that its next earnings report will make a significant hit due to a number of canceled projects. The publisher board of directors voted on March 27th in favor of new strategy for HD games, with the intention of being more selective and focused in the allocation of development resources. As a result, Square Enix plans to report 22.1 billion yen, $140 million in US currency, in content abandonment losses for fiscal year ended in March 31st. The company said it is evaluating whether or not the charge will require it to revise its previous release earnings forecast for the year. Either way, Square Enix is scheduled to report its earnings for the year on May 13th. To give an idea of the sort of pipeline publishers hope to cut back on, Square Enix lineup of HD games for its fiscal year included Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered, Final Fantasy 16, Infinite Strash, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, Star Ocean: The Second Story R, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Print, Foam Stars, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The company has already confirmed that Final Fantasy XVI fell short of sales expectations at launch. And Nico Partners analyst Daniel Ahmed has also said Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is underperforming sales-wise. If you ask me personally, Square Enix has been on this downward spiral for a while now. They make good games sometimes. Well, I remember there was a time where Square Enix used to make great content, amazing content. In fact, I was even watching a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood the other day, and that show was actually produced by Square Enix, or at the time, Squaresoft, because that's what they were called. However, I do wish that this approach is something that will help them in their sales. Square Enix has always been one of my favorite companies, not so much as of recently, but I feel like they could definitely get it back together if they do exactly what they said they're going to do and just focus on making 1 or 2 games, not 10 at a time. On our next topic, Baldur's Gate 3 owner says it got $1 billion invested in game dev and is using one Massive Effect vet new sci-fi RPG to help. One of Hasbro studios is working on a D&D game. Baldur's Gate 3 owner Hasbro says it's got more than $1 billion invested in game development, and the upcoming sci-fi RPG from the former Mass Effect dev is part of that. In an interview with Game Industry Biz, Hasbro head of digital product development Dan Ayub revealed the company's huge investment in Returnal game development and its plans to make video games an integral part of Hasbro's strategy going into the next 10 years. At the time of writing, Hasbro has 4 AAA studios to its name, including Atomic Arcade, which is working on a game that's hopefully going to be a shot in the arm for a G.I. Joe franchise. Invoke Studios, which is working on a Dungeons and Dragons game, Skeleton Key, which is doing something spooky, and Archetype, the studio being led by former BioWare dev that's working on sci-fi RPG Exodus. On the topic of these studios, Ayub tells the outlet that over $1 billion is in the video game development right now, and that is just these studios. That's to say nothing of other game investments that are happening. He also revealed that he's definitely seen the company put its actions around its words in terms of building these studios around strong leaders, thinking about the long game as well. We've got a portfolio that goes much, much larger than anything we're talking about right now. Touching on Exodus specifically, Ayub explains, what we're trying to do there is have the tail wag the dog a little bit and have things going the other direction for the company, which would be something new, where we could create a new IP through video games and then take advantage of the size and scale of Hasbro to do other things with it as well. Hasbro also has several huge IPs under its belt, including Baldur's Gate 3. In the same interview, the Hasbro head reflected on the success of Larian's RPG, revealing that one of the greatest things we took from the success of Baldur's Gate 3 is that people really like a great, well-executed D&D game. People like great and well-executed games, period. It don't matter that it's D&D. It could be anything. If it's great, if it's executed well, and all the parts mesh together like it's supposed to, people are going to gravitate to it. I don't know. Personally, if you ask me, y'all could have gave that $1 billion to Larian, kept them on your side. Larian is such a great studio. Maybe y'all did something or said something that made them want to run away. I think that's y'all fault. At the end of the day, y'all really let a gold mine go. Larian is a phenomenal studio. Maybe you guys are in talks of getting them back. Maybe not. Maybe you guys just want to go in different directions. I don't really know what the issue is, but whatever you plan on doing, I don't think is going to be as good as what Larian did. For our last topic of the day. Now, yesterday I was talking about how Returnal has some games coming out, and this is the continuation of that. Let's get into it. Returnal, Fallen Asteria, and the Art of Returnal pre-orders are now available. Not the sequel we thought it would be, but still some very cool Returnal stuff coming later this year. Housemarque got us all excited on Monday when it teased something regarding Returnal to mark the game's 3rd anniversary would be dropping 24 hours later. That left us wanting for a sequel, or at the very least some DLC for what remains one of the best PS5 exclusives to date. Unfortunately, we're not getting either of those things, at least not yet. On the bright side, Housemarque has announced a graphic novel Return, Fallen Asteria, as well as Returnal art book, both of which are available to pre-order right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit disappointing, but I guess it is what it is. Returnal Fallen Asteria has been made in conjunction with the Dark Horse comic, one of the biggest comic book creators on the planet and responsible for huge series including Hellboy and Sin City. Fallen Asteria is 88 pages long and based on its item description in the teaser video Housemarque shared, which you can check out below. It will effectively be an adaptation of Returnal in paperback form, following Celine after she crashes into an alien planet. If you're desperate to re-experience Returnal right away, you'll need to rely on a fresh playthrough rather than Fallen Asterias, as the comic book graphic novel isn't going to be here for a while. Although you can pre-order your copy now for $20 through the link in the box below. The books won't be delivered until October 22nd. The same applies to the art of the Returnal book, which was also announced today to celebrate 3 years since the roguelike's release. None of the images from the art book has been shared yet, but those who have played Returnal will know what to expect for some pretty stunning shots. As intense an experience as Returnal is, during the moment of peace, it's impossible not to admire just how gorgeous a game it is. Despite 3 years having passed since its release, there are very few games, if any, that have managed to outdo the bullet hell's stunning visuals. The art book is also available to pre-order now, priced at $50 and releasing on the same day as Fallen Asteria. We might have been a little foolish to expect a Returnal follow-up, as even though Housemarque hasn't outright said it won't ever build on its hit PS5 exclusive via a sequel or an expansion, it has hinted that whatever it gives us next will be a brand new IP, one that includes Returnal's DNA but is an entirely separate game. If you two had your hopes dashed by the tease not being more Returnal in video game form, don't be too disheartened. The comic looks fantastic and the art book will likely be even better. I'm happy Returnal is getting more content, whether it be a game, an art book, comic book, or whatever it is. But honestly, I was slightly disappointed, just a tad, that it wasn't a game. Even though I haven't played the first one, them announcing a new game would have pushed Returnal further up into my backlog. Like I would have made it more of a priority to play it sooner, because the new game was being announced, or a new game was, actually confirmed to be coming out. With this, I can have some kind of relaxation in knowing that I don't need to play this game right now. To be honest, I'm kind of saving it because I know that it's a good game just from all the praise and the reviews and everything that I've been seeing from people. There's nothing to wonder there. I'm kind of like saving it for a time to where like I have nothing to play at all, and I'm looking for something fun, something to get my mood up. And I think this would be one of those games that could do that for me. It's kind of the reason why I haven't played it yet, but also it's just an excuse. And that's all that I have for you guys today. If you like what you heard and you made it this far, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you made it this far and you didn't like what you heard, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am the Gaming Zon, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.